So my name is Monte. It's up there. By training, if you go back to what I went to school for, I'm a physicist. I worked as a scientist for a great number of years, then a director of engineering for Honeywell. I worked for IBM first and then for Honeywell. And then I went into business, the business side of Honeywell, and I directed their marketing. And I was responsible for $100 million of marketing and getting business. And I was a pioneer for them. I actually put up their first website, had my group put it up for them. So the first website they ever had, we put up. But we also put up the first store. It was kind of interesting. And so that's how I got started in internet marketing. And I retired from Honeywell after 30 years. And I thought I was going to do the country club life and all that. And I got a golf membership and all this. And then I got antsy to work again. So I said, well, I could use a little consulting kind of thing. And I started internet marketing, and it grew into the largest agency, one of the largest agencies around. And that went on for about 12 years. Now we're winding down, but we still have some pretty big clients like Honeywell and some other big known names. And we have a strategic alliance now with Chris's group, and we'll give a lot of the work to him and to my other son. And so I'm just handling a couple of big clients. One of the things we were pioneers in was social media marketing. And that's what I'm going to talk to you about today. And I want it to be informal. So anytime you have a question, just ask your question. You don't have to raise your hand, just ask your question. I hope I know the answer, but ask any questions you have. I'm going to include, just to give you a demonstration. I brought a candle. You might say, what does this have to do with internet marketing? Nothing. But as part of what we're going to do today, first I'll light the candle. I'm going to include some magic in it. Okay, now the magic is to make a point, but most of what you're going to get is science. And the candle illustrates this. I'll show you how. We'll let it get good and warm first. Now see, as long as I brought that flame close to the candle, I didn't have to touch the wick. Did you notice that? I'm going to show you one more time. The flame will come close, but it won't touch the wick. Okay, the reason why that works scientifically is that there are unburned particles of wax in the smoke. And the flame, when the flame of the lighter comes to it, it causes the unburned particles to ignite. That goes all the way back to the wick. So that's the science part. This would be the magic part. So that we're going to do both today, some magic. So I hope after today you'll not only be well informed, but a little entertained by what we do. That's all for the candle. And so far we haven't burned anything down, which is a good thing. Okay. Now, the first question is, what is the goal? And, fundamentally, what the whole idea of social media marketing, if we went back, I would say not more than 10 years ago, there was no social media marketing. What there was marketing, but it was by word of mouth. Now, it was a form of social marketing. And so one person would tell another and so on. And what's happened now is that all these social media sites have sprung up. And you're getting word of mouth. It's actually word of mouse because they're passing on the information friend to friend and colleague to colleague. And so what's actually happening is that you're turning your customers and your fans, and we'll talk about fans, into a marketing army that will buy and sell your products. They'll sell for you. So that's what you're trying to accomplish with social media. You're trying to get other people to help you sell your products and buy your products. So and we'll talk about how that all works. I'm going to bring these three up. Why social media marketing? It's the most cost effective. If you look at advertising, you know, word of mouth, of course, literally costs you nothing. If you're a good employer, I mean, a good shop, you're going to get some people repeat business and you're going to get referrals. Okay. The same thing is true with social media marketing. You do have to set up the properties, the websites, and so on. But once they're set up, and once you're feeding into it on a fairly routine basis, it is the lowest cost of marketing, and it'll give you the highest return. What you do have to do, though, it's not free. There is an element of time involved. So the time is putting in, for example, if you're doing a blog, you're writing a blog post. Your blog post might be what to look for when buying a new house, which would be very interesting to people. Or you might be doing a tweet. Just have a new property, lakefront, and that's your tweet, and a little link. It goes back to your website, and they can see the picture. Okay, that's the time you put in. All right. Now, I can tell you that all of you probably do a certain amount of prospecting, right, to do it. I can almost guarantee you that an hour spent here will outweigh an hour doing anything else. This is a very strong methodology. But you have to build a little momentum. It takes a while to build it up. And I'll show you what I've done. And I'm actually an author as well. And I've got 2 books out, and they're both Amazon bestsellers. One was number 4. It got to the number 4 position in its category. They're popular science books. I have another one coming out next month. So they have done extremely well, and I've only used social media. That's all I've used to promote the books. So it does work. Now, like everything else, you want your social media to be branded. And I'll show you my brand, how I look. But you want the Remax brand on your social media because that carries a certain amount of legitimacy to it. So you want it to look professional. So that's why I use social media marketing. I think we covered that. Now, I know this is the fire hose approach. I'm going to go over every one of these one at a time. But these are the big 7. Okay, so if you ask yourself, what do I have to really concern myself with in social media? These are the big 7. Now, are there other social media sites? Yes. But these are the ones that, for all practical purposes, they count the most. Do you have to do every one of these? No. You can get good in 2 or 3 of these and get a lot of leads, generate a lot of activity and leads for yourself, quality leads, which lead to then more sales for you. But this is the big 7. Overt selling generally doesn't go over well in social media. If you're trying to make a sale, every time you do something on your social networks, if you're trying to make a sale, you're actually going to turn people off because they really want useful content. So it's a form of indirect selling. It's more like public relations. So a lot of what I will blog about, I'll tweet about, is actually about science, because that's what my books are about. And occasionally I do some about business. So overt sales approaches will fall flat. What you want to do is get followers that are enthralled with the content that you're putting out, that really can't wait for the next installment of your blog or looking at your tweet. I have people telling me the first thing they do in the morning is when they get up, is they look at my tweets. It wakes them up. They get their head going. Now, I do 3 tweets a day. I have about 17,000 to 18,000 tweet followers on Twitter. So it's a fair number. It's a lot of people following me. And I put out about 3 tweets a day, and they like it. What you bear in mind, what people care about is what's useful to them, what's entertaining to them. It's not about me. In other words, if I tweet about myself, nobody cares. So you want to tweet about the things they're interested in. So, and a lot of them are interested in science, so I tweet about science and wisdom and so on, and you'll see some of that as we go along. Okay, I want to talk a little bit about making connections. I wonder if I could ask your help, Danielle. Would you be willing to volunteer? Okay, this is, I promise you won't be embarrassed at all. That's okay. Would you take this and check it carefully, make sure there are no holes or gaps or anywhere in that? Pretty solid? See any hole?
No,
No hole. I think there's one.
well, there's a hole.
Yeah, that's okay. I'll tell you what we're going to do. Why don't you give me that one, and you grab it, this with that hand and the other hand as well, both hands. All right, hold it just like that. Now, I'm going to show you what we're going to be doing here in a second. You've got your 2 like this. Now, you just follow me, okay? First off, do you believe in social media marketing? Okay, then this is going to work. I'm going to show you how to make a connection. Have you ever passed steel through steel?
Nope.
Okay, get ready. 1, 2, 3. Drop it. Pass it around. Show everybody. Show everybody. Are there any gaps in that? You see any holes? Is that, let's give Danielle a hand. If you believe. Now, I'm going to make a point with that, actually. We're talking about connections, and that was a connection, okay? It's hard to believe that they could actually be, and there are no holes in that, Mark. You can take my word for that. I know it looks hard to do. However, whoa, it is hard to do. It can be hard. Oh, boy. Happens once in a great while. Okay. Now, watch. Doesn't go through. Watch now. Now watch. Okay, that's better. Okay, here's social media with connections. The top one is Mark. Okay, Mark tells one of his colleagues on a social media site about a new property, who puts it on Facebook, who then puts it on Twitter, who then gets an actual client to come and look at it. That's the basic idea. You're getting you want a viral thing going. That's what this is to demonstrate, is you want it to be viral. So that's what's going to happen with social media.